First off, can I say it's crazy to me that Robinhood would allow me to borrow over $250,000 in margin for $110,000 account? When I enabled margin, I figured it'd be like more of a 1-to-1 ratio. Like, okay, maybe I can take out 110K max if I want, which I would never recommend. That's way too much to be putting on debt. But the fact that they would let people take more margin than their account is worth is just crazy to me. Like, nobody should ever do that. I mean, I guess what they're thinking is, yeah, okay, if I take out $250,000 margin, I'd have 360K worth of stocks and 250K to pay back. The interest alone on that would be over $1,000 a month, and of course, then any type of market dip, you're absolutely screwed. So I can kind of get why people sometimes say Robinhood doesn't always have the customer's best interest at heart. Another thing I don't like that they do are these prediction markets, which I don't know, on my phone app, they're right there at the bottom, but trust me, they're there. They're basically just sports betting, so that's, I don't think, really the average person's best interest at heart. But, there is good too. Robinhood, the 3%, if you have gold, the 3% IRA match, that's really awesome. There's not any other brokers I know that are offering that much of a match, so that's definitely good. I have the Robinhood Gold credit card, so that 3% cash back, I love it. So if you have the discipline and use Robinhood correct, it is great. But man, for people that would see this and not be able to control themselves and just throw that into the market, it's definitely a risky situation. And the reason I have all this shown is because I had a handful of options contracts that expired yesterday. So once they all expired, all that options collateral just goes back into my account as margin ready to use. I did not get any options assigned to me, but it was close with the dip in the markets. So I am still rocking my 100% no contracts assigned, but with it being so close, it kind of had me thinking. Main Street, I watched that stock dip from the mid 60s to the mid 50s in the matter of like a week. And that's not really something that I want in my portfolio for monthly dividend paying. I just want something where the price is going to stay relatively stable, and the dividends from Main Street are awesome. They're very predictable. They grow. They don't change. But the share price, I don't want to have to deal with a crazy drop or even a crazy romp. They're a great company. They've outperformed the S&P. So if you have it, you're doing well. But I decided I'm going to roll with QQQI instead. One, the dividend's higher, so if and when I do get assigned a contract, it'll help me pay the margin down faster if I have to hold on to it for a while and pay the margin. My first goal will always be to try to, wait for the share price to bounce back and sell it to clear the margin. But let's say that's taking a while and I have to do some margin payments. It'll be nice to just have a little bit of a higher dividend. So as long as this stays steady, I'm going to hold on to this. But it did have me thinking, which positions do I want to build out here? So for the end of the year, I decided I want to get VU up to 110, nice clean number here, and I'm 3/4 of a share away from that. And then I want to get SCHD to 1600, another just clean number. So that's going to be my goal for the end of 2025. And then that is going to allow me in 2026 to just really focus on only pouring into VGT and then my monthly payers O and QQQI. So that's the way I envision the rest of my 2025 going, pouring into these two. And then 2026, I really just want to focus on these three. And see, one thing, when I set goals, I kind of like to not necessarily set too much goals on account value, because that's a little bit out of your control, but the number of shares you have is more in your control. And sometimes when you feel like progress isn't being made because you're just watching account value and It's trading sideways. There's a market pullback. You might feel like you're not making progress, but if you're tracking like the number of shares you have and you look back, you're like, hey, I added 2 shares this month. You can kind of see the progress, and it kind of keeps the motivation up. At least that's what I found for me. So I personally like setting share count goals a little bit more than account value goals. But yeah, that's how I envision planning the rest of my 2025. I did see there's one thing. So Bitcoin, nice drop here. One of the things Robinhood has going right now is this 2% crypto deposit bonus. So this looks pretty interesting through November 19th. So we have the next month to get 2% of a cash back into your brokerage account for whenever you're buying crypto. Now a little bit of the fine print, 18 months you gotta hold it into your account before you draw. So you gotta make sure you're planning on being with Robinhood kind of long term here. And another thing is it did say it wasn't available to everybody. Reward is not available to all customers. It makes me think you have to have Robinhood Gold. But if you do have Robinhood Gold and you like crypto, this is definitely a good thing you can take advantage of, especially with the pullback in the crypto market. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out to see if you have that if you're into crypto. But yeah, other than that, that's where I'm standing right now. 110.9. It's October 18th. See you guys in the next update, which will be at the end of the month. So I'm out.